Okay, are we ready to go? Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. The public meeting, and can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Bob and Rudy. It's been moved and seconded that the October 6, 2022 public meeting of the Lakehead Rural Planning Board be open, the time being 5:32 p.m. Anyone in opposition to this? Seeing none, we will open the meeting. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the agenda, please? Bob and David. It's been moved and seconded that the October 6th, 2022 public meeting agenda Lakehead Rural Planning Board be approved. Anyone in opposition to this? Seeing none, we are approved. And we will move into items on the agenda. Take it away, Carrie.
Did you want to see if there's any pecuniary?
Oh yes, sorry, I'm dealing with multiple screens here.
No problem.
Technical issues. Okay, yes. Do we have any disclosures of pecuniary interest in tonight's proceedings? Seeing none. That is good. Do we have? I had an agenda up and I just lost it.
It is my turn now.
Good. You take it away. I'll straighten this out. You think after doing this for 2 years, I'd have a better system, but I'm trying to save paper today.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So the first application for consent was received from Ian Hamilton, who's acting as agent on behalf of himself and Oscar Mattis for the property known as 98 Connolly Road in the township of O'Connor. The application proposes to create one new lot with 25 hectares, leaving a retained parcel of 35.8 hectares. The subject property has frontage on Connolly Road, is designated as rural in the official plan and zoned rural in the zoning bylaw. The properties are abutted by additional rural lots. The proposed severed and retained lots both meet the area and frontage requirements of the rural zone, and an entrance permit for the new lot will be required from the O'Connor Township office if one does not already exist. We received agency comments from Mines stating that this is of non-mining land tenure. Hydro One stated that they have no concerns. MTO stated that this is outside of their permit area, so they have no concerns. And the Conservation Authority stated that they have no objections. We did not receive any comments from the public. And we received comment from O'Connor Council stating that they have no issues and have passed a resolution approving the severance with any road allowance being turned over to the township. So it would be my recommendation that this application be approved with the usual conditions.
Okay. Would the applicant, or you've got something to add, Bob? Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Sorry to interrupt, but Mr. Mattis is a personal friend of mine. I'd like to recuse myself from this particular discussion and approval process.
Okay.
I have concerns.
That will be noted in the minutes. Okay, first we will ask if the applicant is in attendance. Doesn't appear that the applicant is in attendance. Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of the application this evening? And now, is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to the application this evening or have concerns?
I would.
Go ahead.
I would. It's Janice Sokolowski at 87 Connolly Road. I'm directly across the street, across the road from that parcel that's going to be severed. I moved to this property. I bought this property because it is rural. I don't want to see my neighbors. And when I look out, I'm going to see that property. I'm worried about the water on the property. We have concerns with water out here. I'm worried about the property not having water and worried about my property not having water. I'm worried about the extra traffic. That property is going to have a driveway and it's going to be right directly across from mine. I'm worried about the extra traffic. I don't want that to be a house put on that property.
Okay. Thank you for those concerns. Those will be noted. Is there anyone else who would like to speak in opposition to this application? Are there any questions from the board members for our Secretary Treasurer this evening? Seeing none, we will be considering this application in our regular meeting that immediately follows this meeting. We can move on to the second application. Take it away, Carrie.
Thank you. So the second and last application discussed this evening is application 1B2722 for Ann Hammond for the property known locally as 5725 Hilldale Road. The intent of the proposed lot addition is to transfer approximately 10 hectares of land from 5725 Hilldale Road to 233 Cam Current Road, increasing 233 Cam Current Road to a total of 16.4 hectares and leaving 5725 Hilldale Road with 42.6 hectares. The subject property has frontage on Hilldale Road in Gorham Township, is designated as rural in the official plan and zone rural in the zoning bylaw. The properties are abutted by additional rural lots, and the proposed lot addition will not affect area or setback minimums negatively. Both lots will remain legal. It is the board's responsibility to ensure that lots are buildable, which requires that there be proof of water. Both lots currently have existing dwellings and private services. We received agency comments from Mines stating that this is a non-mining land tenure. Hydro One stating that they have no comments or concerns, but there is, Enbridge stated that they have a lateral natural gas line crossing Hilldale in the vicinity of this property. So any line location should be requested prior to any construction. LRCA stated that they have no objections, and MTO stated that they have no concerns. And until this evening, we had not received any comments from the public, but now we have the comments from Janice Sokolowski, or no, sorry, those are for the last application.
No,
Very
wrong
sad.
place.
Yeah, I apologize. It would be my recommendation that this application be approved with the usual conditions.
Okay, thank you for that, Carrie. Do we have the applicant in attendance this evening? Does not appear that we do. Do we have anyone who would like to speak in favor of the application? And do we have anyone who would like to speak in opposition to the application? Okay, looks like it's a non-contentious application so far. Would any of the board members have any questions for our Secretary Treasurer this evening? Okay, seeing none, that brings us to the end of this portion of the meeting. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the closing of the public meeting? It's Bob and Axel. It's been moved and seconded that the public meeting of the Lakehead Rural Planning Board, the October 6th, 2022 public meeting of Lakehead Rural Planning Board be adjourned, the time being 5:40 p.m. Anyone in opposition to that? Seeing none, we will move into the next meeting immediately. I've got a mover and a seconder to open the regular meeting, please. Bob and David, it's been moved and seconded that the October 6th, 2022 regular meeting of the Lakehead Rural Planning Board be open. The time being 5:41 p.m. Is anyone in opposition to this? Seeing none. Can I get a mover and a seconder for the agenda, please? Bob and Rudy, it's been moved and seconded that the October 6th, 2022 regular meeting agenda of the Lakehead Rural Planning Board be approved. Anyone in opposition to this? Seeing none. I will ask for any disclosures of pecuniary interest. Seeing none, we will move on. Do we have any deputations? I'm guessing not.
No.
We'll move directly into the bylaws / resolutions from the public meeting. Do we have anything to add or any questions on the first application, Carrie?
So just in response to the concerns raised by Janice, the Conservation Authority does comment on all of our applications. So if there was a concern over water, those would have been noted, but they were not. I can't really comment on the traffic other than the fact that we circulate to the roads board and we didn't receive comment from them that there's any concerns. or sorry, the Township of O'Connor would have been circulated on this and they did not have any concerns as far as traffic, so.
Bob, you have a question or a comment?
Yes, just because this is a second meeting, the regular meeting, I will again indicate I recuse myself from the decision process on this particular application. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments from the board members on this application? Okay. So we have the resolution before us. Can I get a mover and a seconder for it, please? Axel and Rudy. It's been moved and seconded that the application 1B/26/22 from Ian Hamilton, acting as agent for himself and Oscar Mattis for the purpose of a new lot on the property described as concession for part of south half of lot 8, PCL 996, known locally as 98 Connolly Road in the Township of O'Connor, as set forth in the application, be approved with conditions. Do we have any more comment or question on this application? Right, is there anyone in opposition to this application? Seeing none, this application is approved. We'll move on to the second one, and let's get a mover and a seconder before we discuss it. Bob and Axel, it's been moved and seconded that the application 1B/27/22 from Ann Hammond for the property described as concession 3, part of north half of lot 9, PCL 5552, TBF Gorham Township, known locally as 5725 Hilldale Road in the geographic district of Thunder Bay, as set forth in the application, be approved with conditions. Are there any questions or comments on this application? Seeing none, is there anyone in opposition to this application? I will call a vote. Seeing none, this application is also approved. Okay, moving on in our agenda, we have minutes that everyone should have had a chance to read earlier. Can I get a mover and a seconder for the minutes of the public meeting? Bob and David. It's been moved and seconded. The Lakehead Rural Planning Board approves the minutes of the September 1st, 2022 public meeting as presented. Is there anyone in opposition to this? Seeing none, they are approved. And now the minutes of the Lakehead Rural Planning Board regular meeting. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Rudy and Bob, it's been moved and seconded that the Lakehead Rural Planning Board approves the minutes of the September 1st, 2022 regular meeting as presented. Are there any questions or concerns on these minutes? Seeing none, is there anyone in opposition to these minutes? Seeing none, they are hereby approved. What else do we got going on this agenda? We have matters arising from the minutes. Do we have any matters arising from the minutes, Carrie?
Just two updates. So at the last meeting, questions were raised about how board members might have to meet with people from their communities regarding issues or complaints. I have reached out to the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing for clarification on that, but I have not received a response yet. Additionally, the next steps for the Gorman Ware official plan is to contact a few companies for a quote. I have reached out to a few companies, but again, have not heard back yet.
Okay. Does anyone on the board have any matters arising from the minutes? Okay. Reports, financials as of September 27th, 2022. I'll let you present them, Carrie, if you have anything to add, or?
I don't. It is late this year receiving the provincial levy, but I have contacted them and they said that it is, so hopefully it's still coming in the next month or so.
Okay.
And then we'll see a drastic drop in the revenue amount. Well, not the revenue. There's a drastic climb in the expenditures because of legal fees.
Yeah. Okay. Does anyone have any questions or concerns about the financial report? Okay, and that was just for information, so there isn't actually a resolution for that. Let's go on the agenda here. Okay, we have correspondence from the municipality of Nebing. on land severance, and 2 passage of bylaws. I don't know if there's any questions or concerns on those. Any comment on those? I guess we could have comment if we had our needing rep here this evening, but we don't appear to have him.
Those are also just for information as
Yeah.
they're already complete, so.
Okay. And then what we've all been waiting for, a new business, the LRPB Christmas party / dinner.
So
Exciting.
I myself have never actually been involved in one of these.
I have never been involved either, so because it's always been like sit at home by yourself and look at a screen kind of meetings for me, so for a while.
Mhm. So I believe Rudy has been in attendance before, and he might be the only one that's here tonight that has been. My understanding is that they used to hold a meeting in December at the Kekabeka Legion. And they had the meeting and then dinner was served afterwards where your significant others could also join the dinner. I could be wrong. I also haven't called the Legion yet to see if that's even available to us this year, but we've also been meeting on Zoom, so I'm not sure how you guys wanted to work the logistics of that.
The floor is open. Let me know your thoughts, gentlemen.
Well, nice to meet in person.
Would be. I guess we haven't actually met you in person, have we?
No,
No.
I haven't met anybody here in person.
No.
Now, in the past, we would have our in-person meeting at our usual location, adjourn that meeting and then go to the Legion for a dinner and social time. Yeah, it's kind of odd. We haven't actually laid eyes or shaken hands with anyone, I guess, in the room, for want of a better word, except virtually. So it kind of starts with that. So unless you want to try and organize something on a different day that we just meet at the Legion, that could potentially work as well, as long as they are available and are actually catering.
Yeah.
Right, and that's, I guess that's kind of the first question to be asking. Is that's where we've done it for the last number of years, but maybe someone else has another idea of where they might host, where we might be able to host something like that. Or
Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
Well, you could host it at the North Pole, it'd just be hard getting there. This was, that's supposed to smile, folks. God, it's a tough night tonight, isn't it? Bad crowd, bad crowd. The Legion, is again, was that the Kekabeka Legion that you said? Oh, Kekabeka, okay, because indeed, they are certainly providing catering service. So from that standpoint, they are being able to do what they used to do in the past and have started so this year. Our Rural 60 Seniors group had an AGM there a little bit earlier this season. So again, they catered it, and it was well attended. But just if you're looking at that aspect of it, they're open for business. Thanks.
Okay. One potential wrench in the works is, of course, some of us may not be here on December 1st because this is an election year and the new term starts the end of November, I guess. Perhaps it would be better to try for something. I guess that's 2 ways to look at it. We could look at it, try something in the new year with the new board. Or we could try and get together just as this board, because we've worked together kind of as a wrap up for the year. I don't know what thoughts are. Go ahead, Bob.
Just a thought, but a meet and greet, perhaps after the holiday season. There'll be new members for sure, and good time to meet other folks, even if you continue with the Zoom meetings down the road, which are incredibly convenient, certainly from a cost standpoint. But you know, a meet and greet at a time when everything is settled down and the election is over and councils are getting back to work and people have been assigned their responsibilities. Just a thought.
Okay. Any other thoughts from board members? guessing, Carrie, you're looking for some guidance here, perhaps.
Well, if I have to book something, I should probably book it, but all January and February should be slower.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm okay with waiting myself. I don't know what other people's thoughts are, but it's there's plenty enough going on in December for me. So
Yeah, that's certainly a potential issue, availability even without talking to the Legion. Whether it's in December or in the new year, I think we should be including any of the outgoing board members. And if we know who the new members are, it would be a good way for them to get to know their new board members in a more social setting, if you like, whether it's in December or January. Seems some of the boards that we're associated with say their terms continue on or end at the end of December, and the new board takes effect in January. I'm not even sure what our bylaw says around that.
good question, because obviously our council terms, they've got a pretty distinctive end, which is before December, but
November 28th.
yeah, okay. Well, why don't we, so there's a couple options. We could either do a dinner of some sort, I guess, or we could even have an in-person meeting at a regular spot at which we used to meet at the municipal office in Oliver Papoonge, and just have a light meal or something brought in there too. It's another way to do it, perhaps.
So January 5th would be a bit challenging just because we are only back in the office for 3 days prior to that. But we could certainly do February 2nd.
Okay.
Also keeping in mind that meetings are typically booked based on applications. So if we book it for February 2nd and we don't have applications, we're committed to just hanging out and eating.
When we look at it, okay. That's quite a ways away, so we probably have a little bit of time. We can maybe discuss this more if we have a November meeting, which we don't really know yet.
Right.
Okay, or we can discuss it through email. Okay, if anyone has any other thoughts on this idea or matter, let Carrie know. Okay, we have no need for a closed session, do we? No, good. Which negates the need for matters arising for a closed session. Is there any other new business from any of the board members this evening? Okay. I actually haven't said anything. You've been really quiet. It's okay. Okay, there we go. We know your mic's working now anyways. Okay, well, if there's nothing else for this meeting, can I get a mover and a seconder for the adjournment, please? Bob and David, it's been moved and seconded that the October 6, 2022 regular meeting of the Lakehead Rural Planning Board be adjourned. The time being 5:55 p.m. Anyone in opposition to this? Seeing none, thank you everyone for your attention.